Beloved beings, it is our pleasure to be again in your presence and honoring your commitment to serve and your intelligence, your kindness, your generosity, and your ability to unconditionally love. It is truly a pleasure to be with and among you and to be part of this collective journey. It was necessary to provide a link to your multi-universal expressions to support all that is occurring in the activation of your monadic auric field and your connection to those experiences of yourself in the universe, the galaxy, and the solar system. The support that you are being provided by these aspects of yourself is really critical to the stamina, the perseverance, and the momentum that's required to move forward through the rest of this year and again for the 10 years that come beyond that. We listen to what you say, we pay attention to your concerns and your observations, and we recognize that the physical body needed a greater infusion of what's required to support it as you continue to make these leaps in the other aspects of your soul's auric field. So this is our attempt to provide the physical body with the support that it needs while the etheric, emotional, mental, and spiritual bodies continue their evolution, their reconfiguration, and their new level of coherence in the soul's auric field. So from that perspective, we are earning your trust by attending to your issues and providing solutions that we are attempting to deliver that will hopefully provide the assistance and the support that's required in the moment. Trust is a very profound experience. It's a profound experience throughout the universe, particularly this universe, as you discover the importance of relationship in its ability to manifest new realities. The importance of a relationship in its ability to manifest new realities. That is a very potent definition of what trust is supposed to do. To solidify, affirm, and reinforce the ability of relationships to create, develop, and transform physical realities. Now, this is most obvious in the fact that two human beings come together and conceive new life in the form of an emerging baby, an emerging human being. So from that perspective, you're looking at the creativity of the human body to create other human bodies. Likewise, dogs, cats, horses, elephants, jaguars, giraffes, frogs, tadpoles, etc., etc., etc. So conception, right? Conception with the co-creation of the species and the life form is one aspect, sort of the most primitive aspect of trust, creation of new realities. But as we move up through the evolutionary scale, the quality of relationship is not just about survival. It is about thriving. It is about evolutionary development that allows for the expression of new life to emerge in varieties of environments that interact with each other. For those environments interacting in their evolution to be completely successful, trust must develop. From species to species, from kingdoms of nature to kingdoms of nature. The recognition that ecosystems depend on a variety of life forms to collaborate in interactive networks of behavior and activity is profound. There is an inherent trust in nature to follow the templates for the development of life in emerging planetary experiences or celestial experiences. There is a trajectory, a pattern of evolution that has been developed as a trustworthy system of evolution that takes into account the needs of all involved. There are many star systems, there are many inhabitable worlds where there has been a graceful evolution, where trust has been the mainstay of the experience of relationship unfolding. And in those worlds, you would call them a Shambhala, a Shangri-La, you would call them a paradise or Garden of Eden. Because in these environments, ecosystems were mutually supported to allow life to thrive beyond its wildest imaginings. Peace became the foundation upon which progress rested. And evolution emerged around the well-being of all to provide for spectacular experiences of harmony, joy, and well-being. Many of these worlds have technological excellence far beyond those of others conflicted. And yet that technological influence has only been to develop the highest and best outcomes, not merely for their individual home world or home system, but also radiating outward in help and service to the local galaxies or star systems in their purview. These are true and valid experiences, and they exist as templates upon which healing may emerge. Now, even though this planetary experience is far from harmonious, it is receiving assistance from those other extraterrestrial environments and celestial environments that have been able to move through their initial stages of evolution in a trustworthy cycle that encouraged and developed peaceful civilizations devoted to the well-being of all. Trust is a mechanism through which relationships discover the most potent avenues for collective well-being. The most potent avenues for collective well-being. You go to people that you trust when you have a problem. You go to people you trust when you are in conflict with yourself or another. You go to people you trust when you have an idea that you would like to bring to fruition. You go to people you trust when you desire to share the best of yourself. Trust is a key ingredient to collaboration, because without it, you don't show up to the table. You stand next to the door, always trying to find an escape route. So therefore, you never fully show up. The auric upgrade that you received today allows you to sit at the table and forget about an escape route. It allows you to show up in relationship with your spiritual colleagues, knowing that the well-being of all is what's on the table and nothing else. Trust is an opportunity to develop the power of love into a meaningful tool for transformation. A meaningful tool for transformation of an individual's experience of oneself, of an individual's experience in relationship to another, and in an individual's experience in relationship to a collective. You start with the internal experience within your own auric field that's connected to the auric field of another, that's connected to the auric field of many. And the fields are connected, not the physical body necessarily, but the entire field gets connected in a truly trustworthy relationship. Consider intimacy. Intimacy requires trust, spiritually, mentally, emotionally, etherically, and physically. You can have many acquaintances with no intimacy whatsoever. You can have connection to family members with no intimacy whatsoever. But there's no trust without intimacy. Trust requires that you are vulnerable, that you are receptive, that you surrender into the relationship in order to give and receive through it. So without trust, intimacy never happens. And without intimacy, trust never thrives. But in order to develop that kind of intimacy, you must have a level of trust within yourself and within your own soul that allows you to be vulnerable and surrender into your own beliefs, thoughts, feelings, memories, and physical experiences. If you run from yourself, if you run from your soul, how can you ever sit within your own auric field and develop the intimacy within you that allows you to be intimate with others, that allows trust to emerge? We recognize that what we are presenting is an extremely expansive and very powerful understanding of what relationship is and how it functions. Of what relationship is and how it functions. Trust is the key that makes the relationships work and the functions that they offer effective. Many of you talk about broken trust. She uses the word betrayal. Betrayal is definitely a third-dimensional human concept that is overused and overactive. It is a third-dimensional expression of the loss of intimacy to oneself or another. Betrayal is also an expression of a wounded ego with low self-esteem that has no one and no thing to stand on because it has lost the essence of its life force. That is quite potent, quite devastating, and leads to suicidality. It need not be that way. But in order for that to change, a recognition of the worthiness of your existence, the meaningfulness of your self-expression, and the opportunity to experience your life force in action must be validated, affirmed, and honored as a sacred experience. At that point, trust can be re-established in your right and ability to live your life, not in a destructive, but rather in a constructive way, in which to understand the purpose of your being here on the earth in a body that is connected to and emerged from the bodies of others. Big breath. Relaxing into this expanded monadic auric field, relaxing into the vertical figure 8, connecting the monadic sun to the galactic star, crossing at the solar plexus. Over the course of the last few months, your ability to trust yourself has grown dramatically, and your awareness of your soul's care, attention, and devotion to your well-being continues to unfold. Now we have added to that awareness those beings within your monadic experience who are also supporting you consciously, purposefully, guiding you to a deeper understanding of how they trust you and how they are willing to earn your trust in an intimate fashion as your collective evolution unfolds. notice how many beings are present to you this evening. How many of them intimately know you and are coming forward in this intimacy to trust your willingness to receive them, to accept them, and to honor their willingness to help you now. With all the changes that are unfolding in your world, and many are, the level of trust required in relationship to co-create new realities has never been more important. It will be tested, it will be tried, the bonds will be strengthened, the power will be perceived, and the creativity will blossom. Especially over the next 3 weeks to 3 months. You see massive conflict on the globe and in your nation. But this massive conflict is bringing to light the mistrust, the betrayal, the loss of relationship, and the inability to discover connection around the world. We simply began the process of fixing those issues internally within each of you, utilizing the multidimensional mechanisms at our disposal to assist in your coherence and harmony. For as you trust your soul and your monadic expressions to help you trust your own experience of being alive as a soul-empowered and soul-aware human being, your capacity to be of service, to connect, to understand, to consider the creation of new realities emerges in ways previously incapable, previously of which you were incapable of even considering. Do not get caught up in the entanglements and entrapments of the world around you. Rather, become a beacon of possibility of living beyond them. Become a beacon of possibility of living beyond the entanglements and entrapments of your world. Because in living beyond them, there is an intimacy born of the realities that you are choosing to create outside of mainstream ignorance, arrogance, and violence. The point is to trust the reality being created through your beliefs, thoughts, feelings, memories, and through your physical behavior that allows you to intimately connect with those who are creatively collaborating the harmony and peace that you seek to make a lived experience. Even if it's just for your family or your neighbors or the life in your yard or those for whom you pray. We trust you to collaboratively create a soul-embodied civilization of peace on a planet in which all life thrives. And this celestial being takes her position, her birthright, as a galactic citizen. There is an intimacy among us because of the trust we place in each other, the vulnerability, the surrender, the reverence in which we hold each other accountable to love. We hold each other accountable to love. Breathe in our love. Breathe in the intimacy we share. Breathe in the safety in which we function. And breathe in the care we offer each other. We cannot convince anyone to trust us. We can only offer ourselves as a tool of transformation through which relationships experience profound shifts in honor, consideration, and respect that allows for connections built upon spiritual, mental, and emotional relevance, beauty, and consideration. We earn trust by developing intimacy born of service and steeped in unconditional loving. This is the trajectory for the evolution of the civilization on this planet. But not all are ready or willing to surrender to and be vulnerable enough to develop this intimacy that is born of trust. We simply do our best and hope for the rest. To notice the difference and want some of the peace that we can achieve. To want some of the peace that we can achieve. We have presented this information and offered this experience to anchor you into hope. To provide a pathway to understanding that frees you from the trauma that is absolutely exploding around the world. It does not have to explode in yours. Your transformation can be smoother and more graceful, with many more hands outreached to guide, assist, and gently lead, where the intimate creation of respectful relationship can take you. And so with that, you have our hands to hold, our hearts to trust, and our minds to utilize as we collectively move forward, trusting each other to utilize our relationships in the development of a civilization of peace that brings harmony to all life on earth. May we all be successful in every way possible. And may we find little moments of success that encourage and motivate us to keep moving forward with hope in our hearts, smiles on our faces, and delight in our eyes. It has been our pleasure to be with you this evening, and we look forward to our time together next week. In deep love, great affection, and intimate trust, we remain your servants. And so it is.